Have you ever wondered what secrets the North Pole holds? A question that has intrigued explorers and scientists for centuries. The North Pole, a point of mystery and fascination, is not a landmass as many presume, but rather a point in the Arctic Ocean where the Earth's axis of rotation meets the surface. Its precise location is as fluid and elusive as the shifting ice that defines it. The North Pole is covered by a constantly shifting landscape of sea ice. This polar ice cap is a frozen blanket that ebbs and flows with the seasons. In the winter, the ice expands, its crystalline expanse extending across the Arctic Ocean, while in the summer the ice retreats, revealing stretches of open water. How is this ice cap formed, you may ask? It all begins with the freezing of seawater. As the Arctic temperatures plummet, the salt water begins to solidify, forming a thin veneer of ice on the surface. Over time, this layer thickens, creating the ice cap that is characteristic of the North Pole. But the North Pole isn't merely a mirror image of its southern counterpart. While the South Pole is located on the solid landmass of Antarctica, the North Pole is afloat on the Arctic Ocean. This fundamental difference in geography impacts everything from climate to wildlife. The North Pole, with its shifting ice and open waters, is home to a unique array of marine life. Creatures like the polar bear, the Arctic fox, and various species of seals and whales have adapted to thrive in this harsh, frozen environment. In contrast, the South Pole, with its solid, icy terrain, supports a different set of creatures, primarily penguins and seals, which have adapted to the continent's harsh, windswept plains. So, as you can see, the North Pole is a vast, dynamic, and complex ecosystem. It is not merely a point on our globes, but a unique and vital part of our planet. Its mysteries continue to captivate us, beckoning us to explore and understand. So, the North Pole isn't just a spot on the map, it's a floating ice cap in the middle of an ocean. Can you imagine life surviving in such extreme conditions? Now, that's a thought that often crosses our minds when we consider the North Pole. Yet this frosty frontier is not as barren as one might think. It's teeming with life, a testament to nature's resilience and adaptability. Let's start with the majestic polar bears, the largest land predators on Earth. These creatures are the very embodiment of survival in the harshest of conditions. Their thick white fur, which is actually transparent, and a layer of blubber beneath their skin provide insulation against the bone-chilling cold. They're excellent swimmers too, capable of covering miles in search of food. Then there are the Arctic foxes, smaller yet no less resilient. Their phenomenal ability to survive in temperatures as low as -70 degrees Celsius is a marvel of nature. Their thick, multi-layered fur changes color with the seasons, white in winter for camouflage in the snow, and brown or gray in the summer. Don't forget the seals, the main food source for polar bears. Ringed seals, bearded seals, and walruses, to name a few. These blubbery behemoths have a layer of fat that protects them from the icy waters, while their sleek bodies are built for graceful swimming. But it's not all about mammals. The North Pole sky is aflutter with various bird species during the short summer months. Snowy owls, puffins, and several species of gulls and terns fill the air with their calls. Each creature here has evolved and adapted in its own incredible way to survive in this icy wilderness. They've developed unique abilities to find food, resist the cold, and even raise their young in an environment that seems inhospitable to life. Yet they don't just survive, they thrive. They dance with the rhythm of the seasons, the ebb and flow of the ice. They've carved out a life in a place where many would assume life is impossible. Despite the harsh conditions, life finds a way to thrive at the North Pole. But what about humans? How have we interacted with the North Pole? Our relationship with the North Pole is one of fascination, fear, and determination. This remote, icy wilderness has long stoked the fires of our imagination and beckoned to our exploratory spirit. The exploration of the North Pole is a tale of human resilience and ambition. Early attempts to reach the North Pole were fraught with hardship and danger. Without the technology we possess today, early explorers had to rely on dog sleds and ships to navigate the harsh and unpredictable terrain. These journeys were not for the faint of heart. They required grit, determination, and an unwavering resolve. Fast forward to the 21st century and we see a shift in our interaction with the North Pole. Today, expeditions are often driven by scientific discovery and research. The North Pole has become a vital hub for climate scientists seeking to understand the impacts and progression of climate change. Here, they can monitor the melting ice, study the unique ecosystems, and gather data that is crucial in our efforts to combat global warming. But the North Pole is not just a place for scientists. Adventurers and explorers continue to journey to the top of the world, drawn by the challenge and the allure of the unknown. They come equipped with modern technology and knowledge, but the North Pole remains a formidable adversary. With its extreme conditions and unpredictable weather, it continues to test the limits of human endurance and resilience. The North Pole also plays a significant role in our cultural imagination. It's the mythical home of Santa Claus, a symbol of the magic of the holiday season. For many, it's a place that exists in stories and dreams, adding to the allure and mystery that surrounds it. Our relationship with the North Pole is multifaceted, a blend of exploration, science, and myth. It's a testament to our curiosity and our desire to push boundaries, to venture into the unknown and seek answers to our most pressing questions. The North Pole, a place of mystery and intrigue, continues to draw in the curious and the brave. How does the North Pole play into the larger conversation about climate change? This question leads us into a complex and urgent dialogue about our world's future. The North Pole, often imagined as a remote and frozen wilderness, is in fact an integral part of the planet's climate system, more connected to our daily lives than we might think. It's not just about the polar bears or the iconic icebergs, it's about the global impact of what's happening to this icy expanse. Global warming, a result of our increasing carbon emissions, is causing the ice at the North Pole to melt at an alarming pace. This isn't just a seasonal thaw we're talking about. This is a significant year-on-year reduction in ice coverage that has scientists across the globe concerned. Why should we care? Because this isn't just about the loss of a beautiful icy wilderness, it's about the ripple effect that this melting ice has on our global climate system. The Arctic ice acts like a giant mirror, reflecting sunlight back into space and helping to keep our planet cool. As the ice melts, less sunlight gets reflected and more gets absorbed by the ocean, causing further warming. This is known as the albedo effect. And that's not all. Changes in the Arctic also affect global weather patterns. The temperature difference between the Arctic and the equator drives our weather. As the Arctic warms up, this difference decreases, leading to changes in atmospheric circulation that can result in extreme weather events. Melting ice also contributes to rising sea levels, threatening coastal cities and communities around the world. It's a chain reaction that starts at the North Pole but reaches every corner of the globe. Climate change is a global issue, and the North Pole is at the heart of it. The melting ice there is a stark reminder of the urgency of the situation. We need to act now, not only to save the North Pole, but to protect our entire planet. The North Pole isn't just a distant, icy wilderness, it's a vital part of our planet's climate system. So let's all take a moment to think about what we can do to help. What does the future hold for the North Pole? That's the question that has been echoing in the minds of scientists, environmentalists, and curious minds alike. Based on current trends in climate change, the outlook is somewhat uncertain, yet it's a topic we cannot afford to ignore. As our planet warms, the Arctic is heating up twice as fast as the rest of the world. This rapid warming, known as Arctic amplification, is causing the ice to melt at an unprecedented rate. If this continues, scientists predict that we could see ice-free summers in the Arctic within the next 20 to 30 years. This isn't just a potential tragedy for the polar bears and seals who call the ice home. It's also a significant concern for the rest of the world. The loss of Arctic ice contributes to global sea level rise and could disrupt weather patterns far beyond the Arctic Circle. But it's not just the wildlife that would be affected. The melting ice could open up new shipping routes and expose untapped natural resources, leading to a potential rush of human activity that this fragile ecosystem may not be able to withstand. The effects on the indigenous peoples who have lived in harmony with the Arctic for thousands of years could be devastating. Despite the grim predictions, it's crucial to remember that the future is not set in stone. It's a fluid, ever-changing entity shaped by the actions we take today. It's up to us to decide what happens to the North Pole. We have the power to slow the rate of melting ice, to protect the wildlife that depend on it, and to preserve the unique cultures that have thrived in this icy wilderness for generations. The future of the North Pole lies in our hands. The actions we take today will determine what happens to this icy wilderness tomorrow. So let's make sure we make the choices that will allow the North Pole to continue to astound and inspire future generations.